All right, here we are. 2020 Super Nautique Paragon G23, otherwise known as the Paragon. Paragon is all new. It's a brand new boat for 2020. And we'll go over the similarities between it and the G23 and the things that make the Paragon unique. Besides it being a 7,400 pound 23-foot V-drive, it is, honestly, it's monstrous compared to a G23. And what we'll do is, let's go look at the bow. Because that bow really tells a tale. As you come around to the bow interior wise is just a smidge shorter than a G23, but it stays very square throughout the front of the boat, almost to the fact that it's 14 inches wider at the nose. If you look, this is kind of our lower stem that we normally have on G23, and you can see how, as this rotates out, how we just stay square and it stays straight up on the sides and continues out. And it essentially has a very straight up shear line at the nose. And once you come up the bow, it gets translated up here into a very wide bow. And that's how we're able to get the outboard armrests with grab handle accompanied with the interior, and it still has, a lot of room for seating forward and aft. So you can sit backwards too, and you can see how they've integrated the arm rest going this way. So even sitting backwards in the bow, it's really comfortable. You've seen in all the videos, very distinct docking lights that are also daytime running lights. So if the engine's on, those are on. Unless the nav lights are on, then those automatically turn off and then really turn into docking lights only. You can tell up there we do have nav lights on. It's a nice small nav light up at the windshield frame. And since we're talking about the windshield frame, we'll touch on it when we get on the interior of the boat. But they've cut this thing out beautifully. The deck drops down to accept the tower, and it gives it a really beautiful profile on the side of the boat where it really cuts down. So along those same notes on the front, with it being very wide at the front, this boat stays extremely wide at the transom. It's very square. You look down this profile, just look, the boat barely bows in and out at the front and rear. Say, okay, well, what does that mean? So we are on the same, I think, and not people from Nautique can correct me, our running surface is very much G23. So at wakeboard speed and wakeboarding characteristics, it's going to act like a G23. But you can see here, this is G23, and then all of a sudden, this is put on the outside of the boat. And if you watch any of those, the design videos from Nautique, you'll see there's one shot where it's in product development, and this is all brown down the side of the boat, and they're actually showing the port side and how much they've brought off the side of this boat. And if you listen to Steve and Steve Carlton in some of those videos, they used the whole side of the boat to help shape the wake surf wave, and how much of this is actually in the water. Watch those videos, and its running line is up here where the water's hitting the boat or sinking down into it. if you really look at it, it's crazy. This is actually a beautiful body line right here. Normally G23 comes along and keeps tucking in, and this is on the outside. It's bowing out. So between that, really filling out the wave, and then these massive, massive barn door NSS plates, they are huge. Not that this is any size comparison, but that is a horrible description of how big those things are. But they're big. They're really big. They've extended the surf pipe to get it down in the water. This is actually a bigger rudder as well. So they increased the surface area of the rudder. All right, let's step up into the back of the boat, and we're really going to start getting into very interesting features. We've seen all the videos on this. It's remarkable what they've done. What you can't get in videos is how small of a step it is to here, to here, to here. And it's just a proper, just a nice gate stepping all the way into it. This is air intake for the engine, and we'll open the engine hatch and we'll take a look at how they've guttered the water so it doesn't get on the motor, but we still have proper amount of air into it. We have obviously cooler in the back of the boat, but they've integrated a ski tow eye. The standard stern seats are bigger. They have good depth to them. Those are extremely comfortable. One of the things that you don't really get to, experience in video, again, is the dual density seat foam that we have. So we have a softer foam right on top, and then it drops into our regular Nautique foam, and it just gives the seats a very plush feel. One of my favorite features, and it didn't work that time, there it goes, to be able to step on that and it opens up so you can actually load from the rear end of the boat. And I cannot wait to experience this. It's November right now. Actually, it's the beginning of December. We've been on the boat twice, but we have not wakeboarded or surfed or anything like this, but it has to be easy to load in by kneeling here and just dropping stuff directly into the back of the boat. Very cool. Obviously you can see the table, optional table. Those big long sticks down in there are the bow and aft sunshades, which are really cool. Big loungers. What's interesting about this, again, there's a lot of seats that are out there that lean back like this and it's very comfortable, but then you don't have anywhere to put your feet. And I'm 5'6", maybe 7 on a great day, but to have your feet dangle off into nothingness is not a lot of fun. It makes those rear seats, rear loungers, not that much fun. But this is extremely comfortable. It's really interesting when you really look at this hatch, it is a hatch on an opening hatch, and then both of those hatches are on top of this huge hatch. So there's essentially 5 hatches in one that are on the back of the boat. Not simple, but well executed. When we were down at Callaway Gardens and for Nautique sales training, and we were there having people get on and off the boat, it was awesome to have the sea deck go the entire time. It made it extremely easy to get in and out of the boat, and this deck traction all the way around the boat. Make sure you always have a very sure footing getting in and out of the boat. Makes it nice. Revised stern seat. New thing that we have is a lock, so you can't lock against it. And then we go into two positions. So we have this one, which is kind of a traditional G setup, Nautique setup. So it's easy to walk around, take your path out and around it. Or if you want everybody to be on the same line, I don't have that in there all the way. There it is. Now everybody has a very convenient seat. Get a shot from this side. Or for max seating, fold this seat down, which is a single lever, no more latches. Same thing on starboard side. Lift. And now we have a traditional seating layout all the way around. There's one of the sunshades. That's the aft one. We did not put that away. Really nice thing. They've angle cut this, which is really nice. So we don't get the big bind up like we've had before. The cord that's hanging down is the extension cord to the battery charger. Hang that up. So what we have here is obviously trash can, all of the digital jail audio amps, but the additional two batteries. Actually, it's a 3 battery setup. 2 of the batteries are over on the port side, and you can see them right there. I'm not gonna try to attempt it because it's a 2-handed job, but those are the battery switches, and there is one battery switch. It's over here, and it's just the button. So what you do with that is just hit it. It turns on and off the boat. And let me see if I can turn these on. So not a lot of visual there, but this is indicating where we're getting our power from on our batteries, and what they've done on the software through Link is control what batteries are being used. So if the engine's on, it will use all 3 batteries to, let's say we want to run ballast, have all our heaters on, have the stereo cranked and only be at idle. It will use all three so we don't get a battery voltage drop. It will also, if you shut everything off, it'll go down to the house batteries, isolate the engine start battery so you can listen to stereo, drain your batteries, but still have a battery that will get you home. But let's go over to this one. Overhead lights. So we have our standard engine stats, and so we have our set speed, we have our ballast, temp, obviously depth finder, all those things that are really important that you always want to see. Huge fuel gauge at the bottom, so those are static, those will always be there. And then you can have this in different modes. You can kind of see over on the port screen that it changes color as well. And then this is very much our normal. There's really nothing additional other than how they've changed the indicator for the surf wave. That locked on. And you can see, oh, and that's for wakeboard. Let me change this into surf. There. I will not fill it. And now you can see that it dramatically changes the wave. And what's interesting about this is it does have a set speed of 11.2. You can see that over there on the port screen. But you really have a huge range of obviously how it's changing the wave shape. And then you can dramatically change it as well by going into the low 12 mile per hour range. And so you have a full, probably a lot, having not experienced it on the water, but just looking at it. It looks like it has a huge range where you can operate and really fine tune the wave for, with the amount of people or the depth of the water or however you want to, or with the style of surfer that you're on. So that's really nice and really easy. A nice change for us to not have, NCRS and NSS as a number. And I can see this, as a future thing that they'll incorporate in the boats. But on Paragon currently, it's on there. Surf mode, on left to right. That's cool. Okay. Big glove box, multi-layers, multi-levels, I should say. Passenger side seat heat, we're going to turn that off right now. We still have our window, so you can see through it. Wireless charger. It's nice amenities. I feel like there's something I'm forgetting. Oh yeah, the tower. So we'll do two things at the same time. Let's see if I can figure this out. Here we have our main power, and that lights up our indicators. This is tower, and this is engine hatch. So as we drop the tower, we'll lift the engine hatch and we'll knock out both of these. So the tower's on 3 stages, it drops way down. And because that is a 5-in-1 hatch, they did have to do an electric actuator on that. But we were out in this on a demo, and it was cold and it was kind of nasty weather, and we ran in this low position, or stayed dry and stayed warm, so it really blocks stuff coming, weather from coming through. But this is a kind of a hard top. You tow with this on. This skin is extremely easy to take off. What you'll notice over here is a big ratchet as I get my phone to fix. So now we can unclip here, loosen the ratchet, and the skin comes off. You can see how it's hooked on the rear of the bimini frame. So it really just slips on like a sock and then ratchets down. So really quick for those of you that have had a Z5 in the past and understand the nightmare that can be taking the skin off and back on. You understand why that's important. So here we have the XR7, which is the LSA 6.2 supercharged 550 horsepower PCM engine, mated to a 2-to-1 gear reduction V-drive. This is the standard engine. It is not the upgrade. There is no upgrade, and this is the way it comes. So they did not want to, Nautique did not want to have a lower grade option in the Paragon, so they went with the baddest engine that we could put in there, and it works extremely well for this big boat. One of the things that we did not touch on at the back of the boat are the wake subs. Optional wake subs are a pair of 12-inch subwoofers that are in the back of the boat, and they've been custom designed in these composite enclosures and then ported out through the deck. So those are air ports, allowing the moving air to escape, and it gives the sound experience that I've never really heard before on a boat, and or especially on a stock setup that you can just option. So incredibly loud. It's amazing. Make this go back up. So Nautique says you can tow with this in the down the road in the full up position or the full down position, but nowhere in between, because the actuators kind of lock themselves out. But you can operate the tower in any of the stages while on the water, which is kind of interesting. Hatches down, tower is up, tower is locking out. Boom. I'm sure there's 8,000 things that I've missed on the interior of this Paragon. But one of my favorite features, this will be the last one. They have added the back of the steering helm has an electric motor, so that when you're out driving the boat, it's 7,400 pounds and has the 2,000 pounds of ballast, and you can put the other 2,500 pounds of people inside the boat and run 6 tons across the water. That the steering is easy and very much the same. It doesn't really load up in corners, and it makes it easy to drive. So that is something, again, it kind of comes around to the interior and seeing the boat in person. You can watch all the videos in the world, but it's really hard to experience how nice this is as it's turning. That it's the same. And then when you let go of the steering wheel, if you're driving, it'll hold that line, and it's not going to have the torque steer that takes it out, takes it off into a different direction. Actually, this pump, it's working right now, and when you turn it off, yep, there it's off. So it just takes more force. Something you can't feel. You can smell a vision or feel a vision, which is weird. So, we'll have an on-water video of this coming later. We're actually going to take it out on a demo today and shoot some video of it. But we'd like to thank Nautique for letting us borrow this Paragon for the winter of 2019. We're in December right now, and our stock unit is coming. So follow us for more info on Paragon and boats that we have in stock, and we will talk to you later.